Welcome friends, this is a new series on business economics, which is of most importance to all of us in our day to day life also. Today we are going to talk about the preliminary aspects of business economics, which relates to part 1 of unit 1 of your syllabus. In this program, we are going to talk about some definitions of both economics as well as business economics. We are going to take both the narrow view as well as the broad view of business economics. We will move on to discussing what is microeconomics, what is macroeconomics. We will try to identify the distinction that exists between these two branches of business economics. Finally, in this program, we will take a look at the basic problems of an economy. Friends, we all know how important economics is to all of us. In our day to day life, we are always concerned about what we can earn, what we can save, what we can do in an economical manner. So, therefore, my firm opinion is that each and every student must be very clear about the fundamental concepts of business economics. Economics is a social science which deals with human behavior in relation to optimizing allocation of available resources in order to achieve the given ends. So, one thing is aptly clear that economics as a discipline comes under the broader discipline of social sciences. It relates to the human behavior in terms of optimization of the resources which are generally scarce. We all know that there are so many resources, some of them are natural, some of them are man made. One thing is very common about these resources is that they are always in short supply. Economics as a subject, as a discipline, teaches us how to optimally utilize these resources in order to achieve whatever objectives we have in our mind to be achieved. When we turn our attention to business economics, now that business is attached to economics, we are going to focus more and more on the economics aspects which are related with the business. And we know that the business is a very important segment of the economy in which the goods are being produced as well as services are also being provided. Friends, you know that our economy earlier was having more and more emphasis on production of physical goods, but then with the passage of time, the services have also come to play an important role in economics. You would wonder as to what kind of physical goods I am talking about. You look around yourself and you will find that all the items that you are using in your day to day life will come under the categorization of physical goods. Whether it is the two-wheeler that you are driving, whether it is the cars that you are driving, whether it is the mobile handsets that you are using, whether it is the stationery, paper and pen that you are using for your classroom education purpose, whether it is the clothes you are wearing, shoes you are wearing, and so on, they are all the examples of physical goods. As far as the services are concerned, you would agree with me that these services have become prominent in the past few years. Some of these services include banking, insurance, that is financial services. Then we have telecommunication services. Education that you are receiving also comes under the services category. We are also having hospitals and healthcare as a very important segment of the services industry. Transportation, whether it is railways, roadways or airways. So, these are some of the examples of the goods and services that I wanted to give you. Business economics as a discipline is concerned with both production of goods as well as provision of services. Now, we turn our attention to the definition of business economics. As I have said earlier, that first we will be talking about the concept of business economics on a narrow basis. Here, business economics may be defined as the integration of economic theory with business practices for the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning. Now, you must be understanding that this particular definition based on narrow sense focuses upon integration of economic theory with business practices. You know that in business, decision making is most important aspect, and the quality of a manager is judged by the quality of decision he or she is able to take. So, therefore, we know that the decisions, if they are correctly taken, if they are rightly done, then we will be saying that this business is being run in a much better manner. So, we are trying to integrate various economic theories that are available with the process of business decision making, and also this whole exercise is helping us in forward planning of our operations and activities. As far as the other definition of business economics on the broader sense is concerned, here we take a broader look, wherein business economics is an application of that part of microeconomics which focuses attention on those topics which are of greatest interest as well as importance to business enterprises. These topics include demand, production, cost, pricing, market structure and government regulation. Friends, this is a much more comprehensive and much more having much more wider scope in its definition. So, there we are talking about those aspects which are of great importance as well as they are vital for the success of any business enterprise, and these are very elementary issues. These issues are what product we are producing, so production related aspects, what about the demand, how the demand can be generated, the cost related aspects, how cost can be minimized for that matter, pricing decisions to be taken based on so many factors, the market structure of the entire economy has to be discussed, and finally, the government regulation and their impact on the business enterprises is also studied here. You will agree with me that all these aspects taken together constitute the entire functioning of a business enterprise, because the business enterprise has to focus upon achieving their objectives in a most efficient manner using the principles of business economics. We will be in due course of time covering all these aspects in detail, including demand, production, pricing, output, market structure, government regulation, etc., as components of business economics, and we will be also seeing that how each of them in turn affect and influence the functioning of a business enterprise. I think that by now you are having some idea as to what is economics and also what is business economics, both from the narrower sense as well as the broader sense. Now, we turn our attention to something which is of great importance in the field of business economics. there are two branches of business economics. The first one is microeconomics, the second one is macroeconomics. As far as microeconomics is concerned, the word micro is derived from the Greek letter micros. Micros means small. So, therefore, microeconomics deals with the economics of smaller things. Now, let us see, it deals with the study of individual units such as consumer, suppliers, firms, households, etc. That means that we are trying to look at business economics from the narrow sense. Friends, in our economics, we are having a large number of individual customers, consumers. We are having a large number of business firms also. In microeconomics, we try to take a microscopic view of the functions and activities of these individual units. If it is the individual consumer, then we are trying to study that consumer, we are trying to study his behavior in terms of how he is spending his savings on various aspects of his usefulness. We are also focusing on the patterns of household consumption. When it comes to the businesses in a micro manner, that is at the enterprise level, we are trying to take a case study view of the functioning of many of these business enterprises. We know that these business organizations are at their own level trying to achieve their objectives. They are all open systems. They are part of the larger business environment. They are greatly affected by the changes which are taking place in the business environment. In their own modest way, they are trying to bring about some changes in the environment itself also. Therefore, the study of microeconomics is of great importance if we have to understand at the individual level how the individual customers, individual firms, individual households, individual suppliers are performing their economic activities. I can give you an example here, that suppose we take case of a company called ABC company. Now, this company is involved in the manufacturing of say cars. It is having a very big production plant. Now, in order to manage their production system, they have to make provisions for so many of the raw material, for so many of the factors of labor, for so many of the factors of capital. How they are managing all these inputs, all these resources of production, and then how they are utilizing all these available resources which are obviously scarce in order to achieve their, let us say, the objective of profit maximization. So, then study of these things will come under the subject matter of microeconomics. At the same time, if we are taking a look at the individual customers' consumption pattern, then we are trying to find out to which socio-economic status he or she belongs, what is his income level, what is his age, what is his other social status, which background he or she is coming from, whether it is rural or urban, then what kind of preferences that person is having with regard to different items of consumption. And then the study of this behavior, this consumption pattern, study of what factors will encourage him to buy more and more, that is to increase the demand for that particular product. All these will be of high interest as well as importance to a business enterprise if they have to achieve their objectives of increasing demand, producing more and earning greater profits out of the whole exercise. This description of microeconomics should have made things clear for you as to what microeconomics is all about and how it is functioning in the overall gamut of business economics. Now, let us turn our attention to the other branch of business economics, which is called macroeconomics. Like microeconomics, in microeconomics, micro was derived from the Greek word micros, meaning small. Same way here in macroeconomics, that word macro is derived from the Greek word macros, meaning large. So, there in macroeconomics, we are taking a large and holistic view of economics. In other words, we can say we are taking an aggregated view of economics under the macroeconomics branch. Macroeconomics deals with the study of aggregate units such as national income, GDP, etc. When we are discussing macroeconomics, we are trying to take a broader view of the macroeconomics. Therein, we are trying to focus on some of the aspects which we might have studied under microeconomics, but when we take a look at the same thing in macroeconomics, we take a aggregated and holistic look at those things. For example, the individual consumer patterns are aggregated and then we are trying to make a comment on national income for that matter. Similarly, the production of individual units is considered and their aggregate is calculated as GDP. So, friends, micro deals with the small, macro deals with large, micro deals with the individual, macro deals with aggregate, and if we have to take a holistic look at business economics, both micro and macroeconomics are of great importance to you. So, we have been discussing about the overview of economics, how this economics can be applied to business situations, therefore, giving rise to the concept of business economics, and we have also talked about the two branches of economics, that is microeconomics as well as macroeconomics. You have seen just now that how both of them are of great importance. As far as macroeconomics is concerned, I would like to give you one more example. You are aware that in our country we have the provision of 5-year plans. Very recently, the 11th 5-year plan got completed on 31st March 2012. It means that from 1st April 2012, the new 12th 5-year plan has actually become operational. So, the economic planners, particularly the Planning Commission of India, takes a macroeconomic look of the prevalent situations in Indian economy and then decides about what goals they should achieve over the 5-year long term period. So, this is an example of the macroeconomics taking look at the economic problems in the long run. While I am reminded of one quotation by the famous economist Keynes, and he was quoted as saying that in the long run all of us are dead, meaning thereby that one should focus more on the short run economic problems. But as time has taught us that long run problems cannot be neglected or cannot be relegated to the back seat. What in economics we have to achieve? A great balance between both the short run as well as the long run economic problems. Now we focus our attention on basic problems of economy. Now, what is the major problem of economy? I feel that the major problem of economy is that the human wants are unlimited. If we ask anybody how much you want to earn, then he or she will not be able to keep any upper limit on that. So, meaning thereby that the human wants are unlimited, while on the other hand the resources are very much in short supply. As I have already said, whether these resources are natural or these are man-made, both are available in short supply. So, therefore, the major problem of economics has always been that how to achieve the optimal utilization of scarce resources in order to fulfill the human wants. In other words, what we are going to focus more and more on is considered as the constrained decision making. Why we call it constrained decision making? Because there is a constraint of the shortage of resources. As I have already said, that decision making is the most important function of a manager as well as of a business enterprise. In decision making, what we require is that we should have to identify the problem, then we should pull out various alternatives which are available before the management. We also want that these alternatives should be evaluated both qualitatively as well as quantitatively. Then once we have done the comprehensive evaluation of all these alternatives, we shortlist and select the best alternative course of action. That best alternative course of action is recommended to the management, who, if they feel appropriate, will get it implemented. Once implemented, then we allow some time to elapse, then afterwards we try to see the implications, we try to see that whether this particular alternative course of action has been efficient, effective or not. That is kind of taking feedback. Based on this feedback, again the whole process of decision making starts. In this decision making process, economics principles are of great use. There are so many decisions that an economist has to take. One decision is that if we are having limited resources as compared to unlimited wants, what we should be doing. We find that these limited resources are mainly on account of the great population pressure on this earth. If we have to become environmentally conscious, then also we should be thinking about utilizing those resources in an environment friendly manner. You all are responsible citizens. You understand that the resources such as petrol, for example, are very much in short supply, and we all are concerned that we should be saving each and every drop of petrol. Otherwise, in future we may not have this resource available to us for consumption. So, therefore, the major problem before economy is how to match this shortages of resources with unlimited wants human beings may have. Somewhere, somehow, on the one hand, we may have to take those steps so that to increase the supply of resources, which will be very difficult. But on the other hand, what is more controllable for us is to limit the human wants, or in other words we can say that be sensible about our consumption. So, that is why so many such aspects related to the sensible use of resources are being talked about nowadays. Social advertisements, educating and making people aware about utilizing these resources with caution are very much available to all of us. So, therefore, we should be focusing our attention on this particular aspect. As far as the second aspect is concerned, that is demand versus supply, we know that demand has to be generated. Demand will come from the market, demand will come from the consumers and customers. Management or the business enterprise may not have an actual idea about how much the demand is going to be like. Of course, they make use of some methods which are called demand forecasting. Therefore, in those methods they try to forecast the demand, and then once they are having some estimate of demand, they try to match their supply with the demand. The supply side is very much under the control of management. They can make some adjustments in order to match the fluctuations in demand. Friends, I feel that if we are able to keep ourselves abreast with these two aspects, one, matching the limited resources with the unlimited human wants, and second, achieving the balance between demand and supply, then I am sure that as an economist we will be able to give good justice to some of these aspects of the problems of business economics. I think that in this particular program you must have understood that what is economics, that it is a branch of social sciences, what is business economics, what are the two branches of business economics, namely microeconomics and macroeconomics, and we have been able to discuss first two problems of business economy, namely the mismatch between the availability of resources and human wants, and second is the mismatch between demand and supply. Remaining problems we will discuss in the next part.